Well, time now is 9:16. It's a new book for all ages, highlighting the importance of funeral pre-planning. And today we have the author in studio. Joining us now to talk about more in the event of my death is Nicole Reed. Thanks for being here.
And thanks for having me. I greatly appreciate it.
Of course. So tell us a little bit about how this idea even got started.
So the idea for the book kind of got started because being kind of the funeral director of the friend and family group, everybody tells me what they want. So my parents have told me, my friends have told me, and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to keep track of all this. So I joked to my husband that I should make a guide for them to fill out and then return to me so I know who wants what. And then I was like, well, that's honestly not a bad idea. So I kind of started on a guide, and it turned into more because I was like, well, what if they have questions about what that means or what that is? And then I was like, okay, well, I'll kind of write some answers to the questions, kind of a frequently asked questions section. And then it kind of turned in from that of, well, if my family needs this and my friends need this, well, anybody could really use this. And I figured I like to do things all out. So if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it the right way.
And how long did it take you to write this book?
So I started right around just before Christmas of 21, and I kind of kept going. I'm one of those people who works on it practically every night just because I was kind of focused on it. And I had some help. I had an actual approved proofreader read it. My little brother actually did all the graphics in it because he's a graphic designer. So by the time it was finished and published, it was the very, very end of October that I finally got all of my final proofs in. So officially November, so about a year.
Wow, that's incredible. What would you say to someone who's like, you know, I don't want to think about this yet? Why should they still pick up this book?
Well, because unfortunately, we never want to think about anything other than a long, full life. But I see all too often that that's not always the case. And when something happens that's unexpected, your family is in horrible grief. They don't want to think about anything. So if we can think about ourselves and think about the awful for an hour or 2 hours to get through this book, because it's kind of a skip around, use what you want, skip what you won't. And if we can just think about that ourselves for a little bit and tuck it away, never have to think about it again if you don't want to, or you can go further and talk to a funeral home, then your family has a guide. They know what you would have wanted, and they don't have to worry. It's taken care of now.
What's your #1 piece of advice for people?
My #1 piece of advice is to make your own decisions. You make all the decisions while you're alive yourself, so why should you leave the most important decisions in your death to everybody else?
So I think sometimes what people don't think about is maybe if they don't know what to do, then, I mean, funerals are expensive.
They are.
And if there's no money set aside, I mean, that can kind of put a burden on the family, too, while they're going through that grief.
And this has a lot of frequently asked questions, and it does talk about the cost of funerals and why they are what they are and all the different options and cost range. So it's really about picking what works best for you. And life insurance, the purpose of life insurance is to offset the cost of funerals. We have health insurance that offsets the cost of having a baby, and life insurance offsets the cost of the end of life expenses.
So where can people go and get your book?
So my book is available on Amazon. It does have a Kindle version as well. I'd like to say it's good, but we'll see how. I've never actually had somebody purchase that yet. So if you like it, let me know. And you can also get it from me at the funeral home. I work at Haskell Funeral and Cremation Services in both Princeville and Wyoming. So we do have copies there as well.
Awesome. Well, Nicole, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
And thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And stick around because we are celebrating a birthday today. Stick with us to find out who's blowing out the candles.